This is Mile High.
Do I want to tell the story or do I want to show the message?
You've got a lot of work to do between Mile High.
The time has come where we can know
we have a responsibility, an ethical and moral responsibility.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
it's now time for the show.
Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles, and super excited about today's podcast. And I've got to remind people, wherever you are listening or watching this, whether it be Spotify or iTunes or YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss any Mile High tick. And of course, you want to dial in. Mile High 13 was just stupendous. And you want to be at Mile High 14 and know when it is, which is August 20th weekend. Yep, we're going back to August 2026. RiseUpToMileHigh.com is where all the details are. So just plan to be there. Clear your calendar for August. That's where you're going to be. And as I said, hit subscribe so you never miss any Mile High tick. So today we get to be with Dr. Andrew Higdon, and I gotta know if I'm bastardizing his name. He'll tell me. He's a straight shooter, and founder of ChiroSource and PHYYNYX Marketing. Dr. Andrew is a principal chiropractor. He graduated from Life University 2016. He focuses on pattern-based chiropractic care and helps chiropractors scale with integrity by combining data-driven results, clear systems, and unwavering chiropractic principles. He hates chiropractic marketing agencies, and he runs a chiropractic marketing agency. So this is going to be fun, and you're going to hear some real deal messages about marketing practices and the digital space, as well as just boots on the ground marketing. So thank you for being here with us today, Dr. Andrew.
Absolutely.
And so how badly did I say your name?
It's Higdon.
Higdon. Was I?
Higdon.
So I don't know what
close,
I said.
Close. I've heard all kinds of things.
All right.
You did better than when I graduated. They butchered it on the stage. It was fun.
Well, there you go. So, well, I'm really glad to be here with you today. It was great having you at Mile High, and really appreciate what you shared with the community there. I'm certainly hoping you'll be there again next year. And let's start with this. I got to know you a little bit more there, but I'd like the people that are listening and watching get to know you other than there's this company, PHYYNYX. I like to get to know you. How'd you find your way into the chiropractic world, and a little bit briefly about your journey?
My chiropractic journey took a little different turn than most. So I was going to go military, do all the cool stuff. I'm in the 9/11 group. But I fell from a tree 30 feet, and as you do, so my best friend's dad was a chiropractor and old Sid Williams guy, and he basically put me back together. And it was watching his office and seeing that, I realized that I loved it. And so I went to chiropractic school and I started pre-DC in the 07. What we were talking about before the call started is like my mind changed. So I am textbook, like Life University. I've met a girl, fell in love, had a child in the program, was in fourth quarter DC, and I got a text message and went home, and the baby was packed. She had the baby packed up and everything, and she basically said that she wanted to go home. And either I go with her and walk away from this dream called chiropractic, or get a divorce. And as a 23-year-old kid from Alabama, there was no choice. It took me about 6-7 years to get back, and in that time frame, I watched some of the guys who were, the philosophy-driven guys, the guys you wish you could be, who just got it, who could talk the tick and do all the things, and I watched them finish living my dreams while I was chasing in other industries and working, and I watched them one by one slowly fail. And so when I came back and I graduated, I came out hot. But it's like, it's just been a different story now. It's because we mentioned about the like the Field of Dreams story. Like, for me, I sacrificed everything to come back to this amazing profession, and I get here and I realize that the wolves are at the door. Like, we have more people feeding off of the profession and eating and bleeding us out than we have
That
helping to
is a
drive it
really
forward.
good statement, and that is a really good statement. I've never heard someone say that relative, and you are exactly right. Keep going.
And so, like, came out real hot. So like I walked away from a career making more money than I make most offices make now to chase this. But the hardest thing for me, I came back and I realized that, nobody was there to help unless you had an American Express and wanted to pay ten to $12,000 for their opinions. And so I think what's incidentally happened over the last 5 years is slowly becoming that person. So, I've owned them. I hate marketing agencies. I cycled through 8 to 12 of them because I knew from my experience outside of the profession, you had to have new bodies through the door. I got to, during the programs, I got to meet and see behind the red curtain of the maximized living, the amped groups, and all this cool stuff. And I knew how to run a principled office successfully. But hell, Danny, I thought my business plans, I thought you could only make $33 a visit. But I came out and realized it was all wrong. And so, as you do, or this is my personality, I got pissed off at the last marketing agency that I was paying $24.99 a month for, plus $400 a week for a call center, plus ad spend. And it's just,
Wow.
I got pissed off, and so as you do, I built my own, and it was for
Right.
me. It didn't even have a name. It was listed. It was so, but when you build something that works, you share it with the people. Like my buddy, Dr. Kyle, he called me and said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, and I told him, and tried it. But back then, if you ever find there's an old website laying around. If you ever find it, our moniker used to be "Let us break your clinic," because like Kyle, I was in a saturated market, but Kyle, he hops on board. We didn't even know what we were doing back then, but knew how to run the ads, and he had 118 day ones in less than 32 days.
Wow.
And that started the process. And but
Wow.
the difference is like those are good problems to have. So like I don't care how good you think you are today, like your systems can be perfect for internal referrals, but if you ever want to scale, we find a lot of broken leaks in your
Right.
processes when you have people banging on the door to come in.
Hmm.
And so we've been quietly growing over the last, I don't know, PHYYNYX now exists, I think, 2 years. We have clients all over the country. I'm I spend more time talking about, like I had 3 calls before this one. I spend more time talking to doctors about scaling and growth at no cost. And that because everything in my world is data driven. If you know what your numbers are, if you know how many people you can see compliantly an hour, then
Right.
it's all scalable. And that's kind of the game. So it's just been a weird, wild ride. But my goal in life is to keep opening practices because it burns my soul. I have a new associate. We're propping him up. He'll hit 150 new patient visits, or he'll hit 150 patient visits per week here in about 2 3 more weeks. He's only been 3 weeks in, and we're growing around him, and that's kind of what I do. So it hurts me when the joint is the close, and I love the joint from a different perspective. We can talk about that, but the joint is the best option our new associates have to make any kind of real money, and that needs to change. And so
Hmm.
that's kind of what we are doing. So
Well, I'm excited to have this conversation with you. And I think you said you've had 8 practices that you've sold or currently are running.
we've
Um,
launched 8 clinics in the last 18 months. So
wow.
we can do the math on that. I have my little cute office here. I run one 3 days a week. I'm plugging associate, and it's probably the least revenue base. We float maybe $25,000 a month ish. But I'm only 3 days a week, and I'm literally 18 hours adjusting. But I have more calls for PHYYNYX clients than I have time for patients, and that's
Hmm.
going to change too.
Right.
So it's really, really cool. To give you perspective, and this will, like when you talked about, I can't every time I think about you, I think about your story at Mile High, where you talked about your experiences and go opening your first practice. Every clinic we've opened was profitable inside 45 days from launch. And when I talk about profitability, I'm talking about $25,000, $30,000 period. And that's the game, because the Dr. Colbys out there, the Kyles, the Anitas, the people out there who've been like, I can't stress enough to the people listening to this. If you've been in practice for years, you are literally a handful of the right decisions away from making it. You're already there because you survived the worst part. But it's just times change, Facebook breaks, and like I'm getting too old to go sit and screen in front of a freaking Publix, but it's something we can change as a profession if we can just start making the right decisions to stop eating our young, which we've been doing since the beginning, and then giving them an opportunity to grow and to help and change people's lives.
Love it. And you also told me that one of your mentors or people that you really looked up to is Reggie Gold.
All day, all day. I actually had a chance to meet him, and I didn't even know. I guess this is another. I have all of his tapes. I have all of his audio. I have all the green books, all this stuff. And I was, country as I am, walking around at Life University. Like there was a smoke-free campus. They changed it to tobacco-free because, I'm from Alabama. I have problems. But I jumped into a room to hide from the student success guy who was looking for me. And there was this old man sitting there like this on a bench by himself, just bald as hell. And I talked to this old guy for 15. He was asking about me. He asked about, oh, I know Huntsville, and he was asking me all these weird questions. Talked to him for over an hour, and shook his hand, thanked him, and it turned out that was Reggie, one of his last trips when he did his stuff. And I didn't even know until he passed, because then they posted the memorial thing, and I was like, holy hell, like. And it's just good. So it's funny in my world now because I'm a dirty mixer. You would consider me a dirty mixer. And in my world, because I get to see clinics all over the country, I get called, I'm straight as a diversified, like I use these hands. But it's just, I think one of the things you'll see, and I message all the time, I think on your wall for over the years, it's like we've lost something in this profession. It's like the old guard. We don't have, where's the Reggies? Like you're the closest thing I've met. Where's the Reggies? Where's the Sid Williams? Where's the cats that are impactfully, without wanting to bleed us out, impactfully trying to change lives? Like professionally.
Well, I'm honored that you say that. I don't know that I can hold a candle to them, but I'm doing my best. And so I appreciate you saying that. He was one of my big influences, being a Sherman College grad in the 90s. So let me ask you, so let's get into it for our listeners. What are the biggest mistakes that you see chiropractors make when it comes to marketing and new patient acquisition?
A blind monkey can run ads. Facebook is held together with hope streams and duct tape, period. The biggest things most people make with marketing is they don't understand their own data. They don't understand their own numbers in their own clinic. If your cost per lead is $40 and you're spending $25 a day, guess what, guys? It takes almost 2 days to get a lead. That means you'll have 15 leads in a month, and only a set percentage come in. I hate marketing agencies because they'll sit there and quote ROI, but they're not. You have to understand there's a word that no one ever gets. There's ROAS, which is return on ad spend, and ROI, return on investment. If you're selling case averages, or if you don't even do case averages because you don't like selling, you need to talk to Daniel Byer or somebody else to learn how, because I don't care whether you have hope, streams, love, and otherwise. Like every aspect in that clinic, whether you like it or not, is sales, but it's personality driven right now. So the biggest problem people make is they'll spend $3,000 a month in ad spend, close 3 or 4 people, but their case averages are too low because they don't believe in themselves or even understand what a standardized fee schedule is, much less what they should be charging effectively for their care.
Right.
And period. you know.
Mhm.
And here's the funny part, the world is shifting back because Facebook shot all to pieces. Google SEO, guys, if you're 20 plus years in there and your SEO crapped out in April, it ain't getting better. It's all
Right.
broken right now because AI is coming.
Hmm.
So you have the best opportunity. Like I look at opportunity and chaos. I look at chaos as opportunity because now new doctors or established doctors or doctors who don't have the funding for it can leverage Google SEO, Google Ads, Facebook to generate leads for the
Hmm.
first time ever and affordable. But
Hmm.
you have to stop. If you have to send an email right now, if anyone watching this and you have there's 1,500 damn agencies eating off our profession. If I want you to send a text message or contact your ad agency right now, if they don't respond in 20 minutes or you have to send an email into the abyss, you're getting robbed
Oh,
because
I'll
that
tell
means
you,
they're not.
you saying about the wolves at the door. I mean, I lived that with multiple companies. And when you lose money, people don't necessarily think about this. Oh, I lost 2,000. Is that money?
Mhm.
You also lose what you would have earned on that money,
Yes.
what you would have earned in retirement savings, or what you would have earned somewhere else. And also you lost what that you mentioned ROI, and you don't only lose that, but you also lose that money could have impacted someone else's life for the better, and that you don't reach person, because you don't run ads to get something. At least I don't. I don't do it to, or do marketing to get something. I think that's a mistake. You've got to switch your conscious that I'm not there to get new patients and bring that to me. I have something I have to give with these hands. And you're using either your time and energy to attract or acquire new patients or have them come to your office, or you're using money, which is a form of energy, to have new patients come to you because you want to give the gift that you want to give of this thing that you went to school and invested money for. So it's not just I lost $5,000 of this. I had agencies I was giving $5,000 a month and got, for a long time, and got nothing for. And so it's not just about me and what I get. And I want the chiropractors that are our audiences to switch their consciousness that they're not getting something. Whoops. They're not getting something, but they want to give a gift. And that's what the pain actually is, that you don't get to touch lives the way you want to touch lives. So there's more than the dollars, but also that pain, and that, like, oh, I could have had you want to profit, you're running a business, so I want to profit 5, 10, 20,000, and then that money that goes into retirement and or whatever it is, or saving for a home, you lose that money that you could gain because of whatever time, and you lose the time of your life. So it's a really important thing that people don't necessarily think multidimensional on that, right?
The billboard principle. So like there's a difference between looking for, like, advertising has a lot of facets. One of them is vanity. So
Right.
a lot of cats, like you'll want, most are people who sign up for agencies because they need to grow. Great. But the difference, what they don't understand is, we don't even talk about a lot anymore, is reach, the number of people your advertising sees, which is impactful to the profession and the whole. Impressions, the number of times they see it, which is
Mm-hmm.
subconscious cues. And then, of course, the lead generation, and you can generate leads by the thousands. It's worthless to certain, especially if they don't come through your door.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's, and then what happens when they come through the door? Like if I know for a fact, if I sent 10 people through your door and you signed up 8 of them, good close rates, but how many of those will refer?
Right.
So
Right.
what's,
Right.
no agency on this earth is comfortable talking about it. I try to talk about it every day. What's the lifetime value of that new patient that came through the door? Because they all, like, that's what your referral rate matters. That's
Right.
where, PVA used to be the big gold standard, and it's antiquated, and
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand that. Austin Cohen's the first, only closest one that gets it. He's talking about a black hole. How many times do that patient come in until you do your job, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't need to see you anymore? But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is, in your world, like chiropractic, like I need to get adjusted at least once a week. Otherwise, this shoulder don't want to play with me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if you're a pain relief chiropractic office, or you're sitting there touting philosophy and patients falling off in 8 to 12 visits, that means you're correcting pain relief. You're not sharing the message correctly and you're losing them along the way. And
Right.
that's when I talk about data, and everything you said is correct. But there's offices out there suing $8,000 to $12,000 a month, and they're thriving and surviving all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you're going to take that leap of faith and try to do it on your own, you have to understand where your data numbers are, because like the joint's a good measure. Like if you're going to open a restaurant, you look at McDonald's and then you try to be better. But
Right.
they have systems in place. They have reoccurring pieces. They're doing a membership model within a wellness space, and most of us here are not wellness based. We're corrective based, and it's a big difference. And that's the hardest part. It doesn't take 7 to 10 years to get to $30,000, $40,000 a month. It takes 7 to 10 years to build a wellness base, because you haven't built the principles and along your systems to make sure that they're coming back and they get it. They understand the tick. They understand the philosophy.
And that all has to be coherent. Talking about what you're talking about. I was just on the phone with someone fresh out of school, and I'm a big course of care that you're recommending a course of care to get from one place to another to enhance spinal and neural integrity than your started place, to go towards where you're going beyond what wellness is and what the public thinks of wellness to be. So, and I was on the phone with this person, and that's what they want their practice to be, but they're doing a 6-pack of visits. And you do that and have someone come in from a Facebook ad or series, and then you're recommending 6 visits and pay for those. You're going to lose on it, in terms of the return on digital marketing space. But all of that's got to come together, and I know you know that. So when you talk about, and that's like a baseline thing, but if you're like, oh, come in for the $20 visit promo or $30 visit promo, and then you're telling them, oh, it's a 10 visit pack and come in when you hurt, you're gonna lose, right? So you talk about data-driven growth with principled foundation, and so how do you balance metrics with staying true to chiropractic values?
You should only, if you build your systems right the first time. Do you think when I'm rolling through my patient base, we did 40 on Wednesday or whatever, when I was floating through, I don't think about that. I don't have to, because welcome to 2025 and greater, I worked backwards. So I took what my philosophies are, my techniques are, what I do on a daily basis, and I looked at I standardized my fee schedule. So now I know what my compliant billing is, and I just go. So that allows me to operate. I know we average $105 a visit in this clinic globally. Some less, some more, but that's the average. That's my true AVI. I don't have to think anymore. So I get to do what I love. I get to serve, to love, to serve. But you have to. It's like the Field of Dreams thing. He built he built it, but he had to fund it, and they only almost lost everything.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the game. If you build your systems and it's already ready to go, you don't have to worry about finances, because that's what the part we miss with all this stuff and all the old videos and all the things we watch and the passion. If you build it and you have it in the back end to where you know what your fee structure is, the fee is the fee, we're standardized billing, and then you can just do your art, and they'll pay it. If and then if your finances never get in the way of your health and healing, like in my office, then you need to understand that there's payment methods outside of care credit that bleeds us out. There's other alternative measures to offer payment methods to where these people can prepay for care at a discount and get an affordable rate to where you get paid and you can do what you love and they can get the care that they need.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the game. And it's hard, because you can have all this hope, love, and want, but if you don't put it in place where the money keeps coming, then you're worried, scratching it, figuring out how to get the damn lights on.
Mhm.
And that's the hardest part, is making
Mhm.
sure that that you build the system one good time and then work it. Like, how much did you charge 10 years ago versus what you do today?
Right, right, right. And I have to say, like you talked about doing the screenings of Publix and all those things. There, the I'm a big person on making sure you're not only doing digital space stuff, that you're doing talks and teaching the public about chiropractic. Yet there are things that you have resources that are a lot easier than when I got out of school. You have tools that didn't exist. I mean, heck, we didn't have email in our first office. That's how old I am. So, so when you're putting that together so the digital supports you being in your community and vice versa. The things in your community then supports that digital so that people see you everywhere. It makes a huge difference. And there's some gifts that you have that are easier and tools in terms of social media and websites and digital space, but people don't know how to use them. So what kind of metrics do doctors need to be watching, and what data, so that they can grow if they're an adjustment subluxation focused practice?
Few things. So one, marketing can be broken up in two big buckets. One is paid. Great. And you said something perfect earlier, like, I do lead gen, period. But I can do billboard advertising. You can do billboard advertising. You can do all this cool stuff, but that's paying money for leads, impressions, and reach, and which hopefully generates traffic. And then there's the organic side, the shake and bake, the business cards, the elevator pitches, the fish bowls. I know you know what a fish bowl is. The fish bowls of dropping off fish bowls and collecting business cards and hosting dinners with the docs, lunch and learns, all of those tried and true methods from the Mercedes 80s days, those still work, and they're coming back into relevance, because the nicest thing about that is it's organic, and this is why the quality feels better, is because they've already met you. When these
Right,
leads,
that's it. That's exactly what you just said.
but like, stop being the doctor. These people, this is a relationship driven profession, and 90% of the offices in the country. And there's a reason the pain brought them there, but that you don't have to be a pain relief clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was going to sit there and tell doctors to start paying attention, one, if you have associates or you're doing it, half you guys out there remember back passing out 1,000 business cards your first 2 weeks and open.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah.
rules of statistical rules and marketing principles still apply. If you pass out 1,000 business cards, there's a rule of 10. That means 10% of each, 10% of 10% will actually maybe create a
Mm-hmm.
lead. Marketing rule of 7. Google, Chat GPT this to death. But
Mm-hmm.
like, you need to have a diverse marketing footprint in your market, and that way, yes, run an awareness campaign. Put the vanity billboard if you're making $60,000 a month and can handle the $800 a month put a billboard up, because then you're relevant. But the difference is 90% of the people who drive by are on their phones.
Right.
So, what's coming and what's changing is AI. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
get ahead of something and look at metrics, start asking Chat GPT. It's $20 a month. Sign up for it and ask ChatGPT, how can I be relevant for my organic and my paid marketing to reach the most people? Because no matter what you choose, whether you have me do it or you have someone else do it or you do it, you want to have exposure to as many people as you can that's spreading the message and getting the philosophy piece done, and not, but base it on conditions. Conditional base, like, neck pain, low back pain, that's chiropractic. We used to stick it on the freaking windows. But the difference is chiropractic's more than that. You guys are more than that. But pain gets you there, and you can show them, like in my office, and I teach my doc, we answer 3 questions: what's wrong, what we can and cannot fix, and how long it'll take. But we have 3 phases of care: corrective care, and then we have 3 phases of corrective care, and then we have a transitional care. Because if you're also sitting there selling 8 to 12 visit care plans, great, but then you get done and you send them, I'll see you in 30 days. Are you disservicing them, or are you just lying to them about the first part?
Mm-hmm.
And if you really look at it, the measures you have to look at from as a clinic and an owner is especially if you've done this 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen over 1,800 day ones in the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is, you start looking at your numbers and start pulling reports, you'll notice what your fall off rate is. You'll notice how
Right.
fast you're getting people feeling better, and they'll disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to start looking at. Those are real numbers, because that's where you put checks and balances in. Have a mini re-exam on paper. To have a
Mm-hmm.
touch point where you can have a real moment with that person to see what they're on the same page as you are, and what their life effect or what their goals are, or whatever the heck they want to do next, because you just unlocked their life.
So let's get down a little bit. PHYYNYX, and just so people know, because I want you to go to PHYYNYXpro.com. It's spelled PHYNX. Okay,
It's a
PHYNX.
wonderful software name, but it's a terrible position marketing company. But yeah,
PHYYNXpro.com, and get started. Tell
yeah.
us about what PHYYNYX does.
PHYYNYX is the anti-market. I hate marketing agency. So, but in a roundabout way, we are one. So what we do is, like, this is this is how my sales calls go. Worst salesman ever. Like we're data driven. We look at the numbers. I talk to like I talk to you about what your needs are, what your financial goals are. It may be just family goals, like we do with our patients. And then I look at your numbers for your case averages, your average, all this stuff for free. And I tell you what, if it's a good fit, I work the numbers backwards and I tell you what the ROI would look like with how much you spend. And then I also tell you what you can spend as well as you can afford today. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'll tell you. I'm the only agency I know in the country in our profession. I let patients go. I let clients go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call you, Danny. Danny, ROI is not there, brother. Like you've had 14 people through the door, like consistently the last 3 months, and you closed three of them. Like, can I help you? Help me, help you. And then we work that up. And if it's not there, I was like, I'll give you, I'm not here to, I will have a tenet to refuse to bleed anyone out because I have been bled out and I refuse.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only company that suspends billing if the Facebook breaks. It's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Or if God forbid you get on and post, if we have a different, political run and somebody, your wife who has your keys post on a group and it gets flagged and it shuts everything down. Don't do that. But that's the game. What we do is we are the one-stop shop answer, are the closest thing that we competitor to what we do from hands-on services, touch points, what we the global is the closest competitor is 3 times our price.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm flat rate service, so that way marketing is a fixed variable in your world. And then the
So,
biggest thing is, yeah, sorry.
mm-hmm. No, keep going, keep going.
The biggest thing is it's just a small piece because the other stuff, like why I have bags under my eyes, I've been on the call since 7 o'clock this morning because I wake up and work East Coast to West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you have immediately have an access and a voice, someone who's sitting there right with you, running day ones. I
Mm-hmm.
just talked to Dr. Marco, who he couldn't close to save his life 6 months ago. He's running
Mm-hmm.
three campaigns, running a 90% close rate with ticket averages 3 times higher than when he started.
Mm-hmm.
Charged him zero for that part. Because, I kind of took it serious when I had to walk away from this dream called chiropractic. And the last thing I looked at when I walked out of Roche's office and had to walk through is the big damn letters on the wall: to give, to do, to love, to serve. And I realized I was losing it.
So what if people want to get started with you? I've got important questions I want to ask you about digital space and about AI. If people want to get started with you, what does that look like before I ask those questions? How do they get to know you better and your and Phoenix?
You go to phoenixpro.com/get started. I think it's on the link. Schedule a
Yep.
call. There is no hard closes. Talk to me. Message me on Facebook. I do it every day, all day. And we look at the numbers. If it's a good fit, I got you. If I like, I'll sit there. I'll sit there and tell them, hey, this is what you need. This is the price, but you can't afford it. Do this one first, and let's scale you up to it.
Hmm.
But it's that easy. Like,
So now that being said, with the digital space, like there's a big, I mean, it's a huge space. There's AI, there's Facebook advertising, there's Instagram, there's getting your reviews, there's, what's your SEO and your rankings? How's your website built? Is it converting? There's a whole, there's a whole, it's a huge picture, and chiropractor graduated, can adjust an atlas, but doesn't know how to run a business, right? And then learn that. So where would you say they start with the digital space?
first thing you need to do is download ChatGPT and pay the $23. And now you have a voice, and tell it who you are, what your dreams are, what you want, and it will start spitting it out, and ask it for advice because it's the cheapest advice you can get, period. Because no matter at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're sitting there worried about keeping the lights on, it's a voice that can tell you, can scrape faster than a Google.
Hmm.
Number two thing is you need to make sure that you have a website. It's just easy. And you don't pay someone $200 to $300 a month to have it built. That's crazy. AI can do it. But you need to make sure your social media footprints are there. Like
Hmm.
you need Facebook, you need Instagram. They're luckily enough they're the same. You need to go ahead and consider getting into TikTok if you just want to, at least have a generalized presence. We have some clients who don't need us anymore. They literally, like Dr. Kyle, he had, his referral rate outpaces his churn rate. He has to either hire a new doctor or just see his 300 patients a week. He didn't need me anymore. I told him that, and I let him, and we turned it off. He leverages our software, which is called PHYYNYX. He runs his daily post in one place and posts across all channels, and that's his organic push for his local events, whatever it is. But that's where you start. Get your brand in order. Make sure you have your social media footprints, which is all those. Start running. If you start posting, you need an engagement calendar on a 30-day roll, at least 5 times a week. Make a post and have an engagement calendar. And when you have, like, you'll be posting and 3 people. Oh man, 3 people will actually comment on it. But the next one, they do something right, and 15 or 20 people will comment in it. That's the one you boost for $12. And then start, for the love of God, start shaking and baking and start getting out into the community. I don't care if you're going to the gas station, talk to people. Organic pieces, you know this, organic pieces work. Order the 1,000 business cards and have a goal to get rid of them in 90 days. Talk to people, do the fish bowls, ask, and that creates a base. Once you have a base, it's everything. Now, Google, here's one for you. When you run Google ads, if any chiropractor in this country, I've got some clinics running $200,000 or $300,000 a month. They don't need to spend more than $1,000 in Google ads. They just don't, because it's different. Google SEO is broken. Ask ChatGPT and do it on your own. It's easy. If Facebook ads come up, if you want to hit the market like a hammer, do what's called an awareness campaign. You set it for $300 or $400 a month, and 10,000 people will see whatever you want them to see. And when you're ready, and if you want to talk to me about it, I'll help you with all this. But if you're ready to truly grow, you need to know how. I'm going to ask you the first question I ask. Well, if I could snap my fingers, how many new patients can you handle a day? If you don't know that answer, then Lord, we're going to be on the call for about 45 minutes says working this out for you. But because if you're just come as you go with a box on the wall, you're not ready for it. If you don't know what a block schedule is, ask ChatGPT, because you have to make sure your systems are where they need to be. And for the love of God, if you're going to pop an LLC, make it an S Corp and stop putting your social security numbers as your tax ID numbers on for your business. Now, you did that 20 years ago. I know it. I see it right now. The paperwork has your name on it.
It's
if you're
so
25 plus years into this and you're looking at legacy and your kids, you made the decision, your kids didn't want to do it. You need to start getting real serious and have a call. You can have a call with me, and it has nothing to do with marketing. Have a real serious phone call about what it's going to look like for your legacy planning to turn that over, because it's going to hurt you really bad when you look at that check for 70-80% of 1 year's revenue and you have no answers. Because the kids graduating today, your closest opportunity to sell, they have $300,000 or $400,000 in student loans. They can't finance a stick of gum.
Right.
So that's the game, brother. You just gotta. Every situation is unique and different. Every market's different. Facebook is held together with hopes, dreams, and duct tape, and sadly, right now, it's the ideal target place. It's king still, as shattered as it is. But you have to know what your numbers are. You have to know what your goals are, and then you have those in place, everything else is scalable based on a number.
And like you said to me, many chiropractors are just simply a small handful of right decisions away from seeing it, from getting to where they could be and thriving. I've also mentored or guided, I like saying guided, guided people in their practice, and often there's a handful of things on the dial that they just don't even see, a handful of dials on the dashboard that if they shift them, they can move towards $1 million practice or more, and they just are not aware of the possibilities because they've not had the guidance. And it sounds like that's what you're seeing as well. And there's lots of things to refine perfect, but often there's just a handful of things that just, and you mentioned a couple of them. So if people want to get started and at least have a conversation with you, they go to, it looks like phoenixpro.com/get-started. Is that correct? We'll put it in the link.
Or you can just message me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I'm probably already friends with you. I don't know. But send me a friend request and send me a message and start the conversation. Guys, like I can spend 20 minutes talking about the names because like my why changed. You guys out there listening to this or feeling this, feeling hopeless, lost, feeling like you're thriving, surviving, feeling like it's falling apart. You're my new why. People out there who don't know what I'm talking about, the same feeling we had when we made our first real adjustment, the first one with intent. And I found that again with the Dr. Colbys, the Karens, the others, because, Colby's my favorite. He was the best he ever, he broke away from the mold. He opened his own clinic. He put everything on red since we had the casino thing at Mile High 13. He put everything on red. And the best month he ever had was $12,000, and that's because his mother-in-law signed up for care. Sound familiar, Danny?
Yes.
But and I randomly was driving to see my parents and saw his little shitty ad because he didn't know he was trying anything. And I pulled in. I was like, oh, I can get my adjustment. And in 30 days, 3 conversations, in less than 30 days, he broke $20,000, and he's never looked back. He's growing every day, and all he needed was that, a conversation and a little help and guidance. If you feel like the biggest thing for me is, and this is why, like my faith-based driven stuff, it's like to give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. To teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Guys, you guys know how to fish. You just no one's figured to give you a rod to do it. So check us out. Ask me questions. Do all the cool stuff. I'm totally down. And there's no pressure. But
so reach out to Andrew or DM him. And also the link will be right with this video and audio in the podcast. It was great having you at Mile High. Your energy that you brought to everybody was, you were part of the community. It was so great to have you there. So, if he's at Mile High again, then, talk to him when you're there. But that's not till August, and I don't want you to struggle till August. I want you to to talk and get help before that. So keep changing. So thank you. And keep changing spines, lives, and minds with chiropractic. See you higher ground, August of 2026. And this is not about you, it's about humanity that is looking for solutions and does not even know that you're in their neighborhood. And you have a solution for them to help them have a better quality of life and enhance their life experience. So thank you so much for taking the time, Dr. Andrew, and we look forward to seeing everybody in Higher Ground August 2026.
See you in August, Doc. Thanks.